We're going to cross over to Athens now to speak to Miranda Xafa. She is a former board member for Greece for the IMF and now heads the advisory firm EF Consulting. Miranda, thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. Look, we're in a situation where we don't have a clear government that can be formed in Athens. We have a key vote coming up next month, which is necessary to keep the Troika money rolling in. What is your assessment of the situation as we head into these important coalition talks?
The Greek political scene has become considerably more fragmented, with 3 new parties in parliament, 2 far-right and 1 left-wing, all of which reject austerity measures and want to either renegotiate or abrogate the EU-IMF rescue package. So it's going to be very hard to form a coalition given these circumstances, and political parties will have 10 days to form a government or call new elections. But the problem is that Greece is running out of cash fast.
And if we don't get a new government formed in time for that vote, will that prove terminal for the Troika's relationship with Athens?
The IMF has already signaled that it will not disburse unless there is a government in place that moves along the reform path. The EU, if it disburses, it will disburse into an escrow account that is earmarked for debt service payments. So it will be very hard for Greece to default. If the cash runs out, then what will not get paid is wages and pensions. So that will be a wake-up call for Greek politicians.
Yeah, certainly a wake-up call. I think that's probably underestimating the situation. Are we talking about a Greek exit of that situation from the Eurozone?
Hopefully not. I mean, it all depends on how patient Greece's official creditors are willing to be. There are 3 important steps that the government has to take whenever it is formed. They have to come up with 11 billion in spending cuts over the next 2 years. They have to agree on the terms on which the banks will be recapitalized following the debt exchange last March. And they have to come up with a revenue-neutral tax reform. These are all tall orders, and it's very important that a strong government be in place to implement these things.
Okay, if you sort of think about this from a game theory point of view, why would any of the more extreme parties be willing to go along with the centre at this stage if they think that there is even the likelihood of additional elections coming up? They don't want to dilute their position, having made such great gains this time around.
The parties of the left have already turned down calls for a broad coalition, and that does not leave very many possibilities. The 2 large parties that have governed Greece for the past 40 years or so do not have enough votes to form a stable government. So unless there is a 3rd party that comes in and is willing to implement the program, then new elections will have to be called.
Miranda, we will wrap it up with you. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Miranda Xafa joining us from Athens.